Wow. Wasn't that something? Wow. I'm sorry, Fox Network News, he has a new career now. Karen and Kelly, that was absolutely wonderful. I think we all agree. Thank you both so very much for that. That was truly, truly beautiful. On any single voyage that any of us take, we can only go for so long before we need a break. We need to pull into a rest area. We need to re-energize. We need to refuel. And one of the many benefits of hospice is the respite care that is available for all of us. Sometimes the family needs to go out of town for a wedding or another event, and if that patient isn't available to go along, well, other times because caregiving is so intense, the family just needs a break for a few days. Hospice patients can have up to 5 days of respite at any time, staying in one of the contracted nursing homes so that family can take that break. During that time, our own hospice staff visits the patients regularly. Now, for shorter breaks, volunteers come to the home and sit with the patient, while the caregiver gets out to run errands or simply relax for a few hours. There are more than 150 volunteers who are currently working with the hospice team. Many of them enjoy coming into the home to spend time with the patient. They'll talk, and they'll laugh, and they'll tell stories. Sometimes they read with them. Sometimes they read to them. Sometimes they play music for them. Sometimes they just sit quietly while the person rests. It gives both the caregiver and the patient a break from each other and a chance to renew their energies. Hospice also provides pet therapy, music therapy, and hairdresser volunteers to help comfort patients who would like those services. I would like to introduce a friend of mine. She is a wonderful woman. She won an Emmy Award when she was working for a television company down in Florida. She's a great friend to this community. Would you please welcome Melissa Fountain? Melissa?
You know, when Cheryl first asked me to be a part of this event, she said, "Now just think about it and let me know if you want to be a speaker." And I said to her, I said, "Cheryl, my mind is made up because there is nothing that I would rather do than talk about Chris." What I'm about to share with you is a love story. The love I had for this man and the love that he had for everyone that he came in contact with. I first met Chris in July of 2006 at the YMCA. I had just moved back to this area, making some new friends, seeing some old friends, and here this handsome heavyweight was checking me out. The third time was a charm. I agreed to go out with him, and over the next 4 years, we shared a love of sushi, of hiking, and for Dairy Queen pumpkin pie blizzards. Chris was a gentle giant, very shy, and always positive that he had the worst luck in the entire world. He loved to fish and would spend hours out on the Potomac or casting a reel from a friend's boat. He would come home hours after he got off work and just exclaim, "Oh, I just stopped for just a couple minutes." Chris was a talented DJ. He had made a name for himself a while back around town, and he had just decided to get back into the business. He began booking events and created his own business cards, and they were very interesting. I took a look at them, had my graphic artist design something a little more professional, and I'll never forget the look on his face when he saw those finished business cards. See, Chris spent most of his life having to do things the hard way, and when someone reached out, he was extra grateful and often a little surprised when someone was nice to him. Chris was a gifted artist. The mood to create something would come and go, but when he put his mind to it, he could really work wonders. I was always amazed at how easy it was for him to recreate a picture using different artistic methods. And bear with me. Take this one, for example. It's a picture of a fish, but it was always one of my favorites. Now, what you can't see, unless you're up really, really close, is that this picture is made up of probably thousands of teeny tiny little dots. And it's those dots that create the entire image, all the shading. And that's just a little example of the talent that he had. Chris was employed by Brookline Health Services, and he worked out of Williamsport High School. He monitored students making a transition from the high school there at Brookline back into a normal high school curriculum. He worked with students with emotional issues. He loved his job, and he really loved his students. He often stayed after school to play basketball or lift weights with them. I didn't know it at the time, but his students thought the world of him. I would find out later just how deeply he touched their lives. As a friend, as a mentor. He was someone these kids could turn to often in their lives when there was nowhere else to go. They looked up to him, many stating that they never would have graduated high school had it not been for Mr. Chris. I think it's important for you to know that Chris had no formal education. In fact, high school was the furthest he had ever gone. His gift to these students just came straight from his heart. On Saturday, May 29th, 2010, Chris had a DJ job, and he decided to head out for an early ride on his bike, just something really quick. It was a route that he had taken many times around North High. But on this day, in front of the school stadium, he collided with a car, hit the pavement, and suffered a traumatic brain injury. Chris was not wearing a helmet. It was a long 4 months spent in shock trauma, hospitals, and a nursing home. Some days Chris would be good, but most days were a struggle. Chris never spoke. We never saw anything in his eyes, even a twinkle, that would lead us to believe that he would ever be the same person that he was before the accident. We would take tiny gestures, Chris opening his eyes, moving some fingers, and we would think that they were signs leading to recovery. But in the end, we realized that it was just the absolute best that he could do. Eventually, pneumonia and infections took over. We made the decision on a Sunday to let Hospice take over. Monday night, we all gathered in his hospital room, laughing, crying, telling stories, celebrating his life. Tuesday evening, the ambulance drivers came to pick him up from the hospital. I gave him a kiss on the forehead and said, "See you in a few," and we both separately headed back to Hagerstown. Wednesday was a flurry of family and friends coming to visit. Most would sit by his bedside and hold his hand. Then there was Thursday. This is the day that everything changed. On this day, at 4 p.m., I sat by Chris's bed, held his hand, and said goodbye to my sweet darling. What an honor, I thought, to be there as he took his last breath in this tired, lonely world of ours. The way God directs our lives seems dark sometimes. Then when the light finally shines, we're able to see just how far we've come. I'm sure many, many good things came out of those dreary days that we'll never even know about. But two of them I would like to share with you now. It was brought to our attention that students Chris worked with and loved so dearly had never been given the opportunity to continue their education. So the Chris W. Smith Memorial Scholarship was born. The scholarship, through the Community Foundation of Washington County, is awarded each year to a local student in the Learning Support Program to further his or her education. This spring will mark the 4th scholarship to be awarded in Chris's name. Secondly, after Chris's death, I became familiar with another service that hospice offers, grief support. Now, not only does hospice care for, love, and support your terminally ill family member, but they continue to care for the living ones left behind. I was so thankful for the help I received, so inspired by the support I saw being poured out to local families, and so eager to display the type of love Chris had always shown, that I became a part of this wonderful organization and just celebrated my 2nd anniversary as a liaison volunteer. Thank you all so very much, and I just hope that tonight you can see how wonderful this organization is and continue to support it in the way that you do. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Melissa. Thank you very, very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we're very lucky that Karen is here with us tonight. She's going to sing us another wonderful song. Let's hear it again for Karen Taylor Good.
I will tell you that the summer of 2005 was the worst summer of my life. In June, I had a car accident and broke my back. And in July, my amazing 92-year-old daddy died. The good news is he was under hospice care because I had learned about hospice. And really and truly, the whole hospice experience completely changed our lives and changed the way things would have gone had it not been for hospice. So again, I love these guys. Can you tell? So I wrote this song I felt broken that summer. I felt broken in every way, physically, spiritually, emotionally. And I wrote this song out of that place and actually had several people in my circle who didn't like the song, were very uncomfortable about it and said, well, Karen, you write positive songs and you give uplifting, positive keynotes, and this isn't a very positive song. And it wasn't until I started sharing the song with my hospice friends who supported it as they support you in grief support, because these people are the real deal. And they're all about expressing your realness, and they will keep you going until you're strong again. Before parts of me were broken, back when I was whole, I could manage anything, I was in control. They say that time will heal all wounds, but can I wait till then? God, please help me make it through until I'm strong again. Until I'm strong again. Back when things were different, before life fell apart, I swear I had a soul then, an open, trusting heart. And everybody promises that hearts and souls do mend. God, please keep me holding on until I'm strong again. Until I'm strong again. If only I could go to sleep and wake up months from now, then everything would magically be made perfect somehow. And I would be my old self, complete and whole and new. No more weak and fragile, lost without a clue. But clueless is my fate for now. That's just the way it is. And sleep does not come easy, however hard I wish. They all say it gets better, not one can tell me when. The darkness turns to dawn again, and I feel I belong again. I hope it won't be long till then, until I'm strong again, until I'm strong again. My life will have to be on hold till then, until I'm strong again. I wanna be strong again.